Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Olashi Agwani, and I'm 11th grader here at FDR. I'm on the cheerleading team and the tennis team, and I'm hoping to get involved into the theater guild this year. I'm focused on being the first person in my family to graduate college. I'm not sure what I want to major in yet, but my favorite subject here is math. I like really thinking through problems. In my class, the mayor visited. I am learning step by step what I need to know for college. Recently, we took mock SATs and looked up colleges based on our scores. It showed me where I am now and gave me something to strive for. I'm excited that the mayor has come here to announce a plan to make one step towards college, applying a little bit more accessible. I see my friends in 12th grade thinking about costs of applications and colleges, and I know that will be me in 1 year. Thank you for focusing on college access and visiting FDR. It is my pleasure to introduce Mayor de Blasio.
Great job.
Thank you.
Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Alashi. Very impressive, Alashi. You spoke really well, and I want to commend you for all the things that you're doing to prepare yourself for college and that you're involved in so many different activities. Alashi has set a goal of being the first college graduate in her family. I think she's going to succeed at her goal. Congratulations. It is great to be here at FDR. This is a school doing some great work, and there's such a clear college-focused culture here, and this is one of the things that we want to foster all over the school system. This is one of the core ideas of our Equity and Excellence Initiative, to give the message early and often to our children that college can be for every single one of them if that's what they seek, and that it can be accessible to them in ways that was not true in the past, that we are going to open the door much wider for kids who want to go to college. Now, we know that for so many of the young people at this school, I don't know if you saw coming in, if you didn't go and take a look afterwards, there's this wonderful set of displays of photos of kids who went to this school and where they went to college last year. And you see a huge, huge number of the kids who graduated, went to college from FDR, went to CUNY schools. Now, CUNY is where more than half of our public school students go to college. It's the most important opportunity for higher education for most New York City public school students. FDR is a crucial example of that, and it's really striking to see the faces of these kids who made it and where they chose to go. Well, we want to see a lot more kids make it. We want to see a lot more kids have the experience of succeeding, of getting to college and then flourishing in college. And that's why we are so focused on making sure that the application fee is not an impediment. And I can tell you that for families all over this city who are struggling to make ends meet, application fees for college are a big challenge, and especially if you have more than one child. So we had to go head on at that problem, take another burden off of hardworking New Yorkers and eliminate that application fee. That was something we knew would make a difference. It would encourage kids to apply to CUNY. It would make it easier for them. It would say to them that we're not going to let anything stand in their way. So from this point forward, CUNY's $65 application fee will be eliminated for any of our New York City public school students applying to CUNY. The $65 fee, and again, I want to remind you, $65 is a lot of money for many families in New York City. It's part of the choices they make all the time. Are they putting money into rent? Are they putting it into food? Are they putting it into medicine? Are they putting it into clothing? A lot of tough choices people make all the time. $65 matters. So for our young people and their families, knowing that that fee is eliminated just clears the way and encourages students to believe that they too belong. So this is something we think is going to make a big difference. I want to thank so many folks who have supported this, in addition to the folks you're going to hear from here who will speak. I want to thank our friends from Labor who really believe in this idea. Nancy Esposito of CSA is here. Thank you. And I want to thank all the PSC CUNY members who are here, who obviously understand the power of CUNY to uplift our young people and support making CUNY more accessible for all. So I just want to put this in context. Those young people in the classroom a few minutes ago, when you listen to them, listen to the drive, listen to the ambition, listen to the hope of those young people. And it made me very, very proud to hear Olashi and hear her colleagues, how much they were thinking deeply about college and what it would take to get there. They know, they understand that college is necessary for so many professions. They understand that what young people today have to know is so much more than what many of us had to know when we were coming up. That education determines economic destiny today more than any time in human history. And it's not to say, I always want to remind people, that's not to say you couldn't get out of high school and go straight into a good job. That still does happen for some young people, and we certainly believe that there are many different paths to success. But I would say very clearly, for many, many jobs in today's economy, college education is necessary. And many kids who could make it haven't had the opportunity, and that's what we're here to address. I look at these young people, and I think what a shame it would be if they didn't reach their potential. I think it's our obligation to find a way to reach each and every one. That's one of the core concepts behind our equity and excellence vision. We said equity and excellence from the beginning because we believed our kids could reach excellence. And by the way, with most things in human life, if you're told you can't make it, it starts to affect your thinking and your self-worth. If you're told, however, you can make it, that you belong, that you're able to reach the goal, a lot of young people dig deeper and find that ability to succeed. So excellence is going to be a message we send all over this school system. We're not going to accept anything less than excellent schools. Equity, because every child should have the same opportunity. And that has not been true for decades and decades in this city. It just hasn't been. Everyone in the world knows it. Everyone knows that some schools were given tremendous opportunity to succeed, others weren't. And some kids in some neighborhoods were told from day one that they were college-bound, others weren't. We need to overcome that. That's a core notion of equity and excellence. College access for all, one of the pillars of equity and excellence. It means that college, again, it's not supposed to be a privilege. It's not supposed to be something that only those who are born into well-off families experience. It's supposed to be part of the American dream, that anyone could make it to college. And that's something we have to reinforce through action. So college access for all is part of the plan that we put in place. It means there's a college-going culture in every school, that message is sent constantly, and there's a sense of everything you're doing is leading up to that chance to go to college. We're making sure every junior has an opportunity to take the SAT for free. That's another crucial initiative of this administration, that the SAT will be there for them. It will be free. It will be at their school. It will be easy for them to access. And every child going forward will have their own college or career plan as part of their progression through high school. A specific plan will be built with and for them. Again, that will say to them that they're on the way to something good. We have now 100 high schools as of this year that have the resources in place and have been trained to get their kids on that future pathway and to include college as one of the options that every child can and should reach for. FDR is one of those 100 high schools, and you can see how much everyone here at FDR has embraced that goal. And this year, we're starting our initiative to expose middle school kids all over the city to college. One of the things we want to get clear to every child is they belong. So one of the simplest ways to do it is take every single middle school child in New York City to a New York City institution of higher learning. Show them from early on, this is your path, this is available to you. A lot of kids, I can say with assurance, who come from families that have not experienced college previously, and that includes a lot of our immigrant children. They look at college sometimes with a sense of mystery and a sense of a barrier. We want to overcome that. So we're starting this year, and this year alone, more than 20,000 middle school kids will get a free visit to a New York City college, to start that thought pattern, to start sparking that ambition. This application elimination that we're talking about today, eliminating the CUNY application fee, will reach over 37,000 New York City high school students a year. Over 37,000 kids will qualify to have the CUNY application fee eliminated. And that is up from just about 6,500 students in the previous year. So over five times as many kids will have this opportunity. There's a variety of criteria that will determine who qualifies. If, for example, they get a free or reduced cost lunch, that's one of the ways kids qualify. The important thing is it's going to allow them to know they have one less hassle, one less barrier. And CUNY, by the way, once you get to CUNY, sky's the limit. CUNY has been historically the gateway to opportunity for this city. And we know some of the famous names that went through CUNY. We know Shirley Chisholm and Jonas Salk and Colin Powell and so many outstanding people who got a CUNY education and then went on to do truly historic things. But for everyday New Yorkers of all walks of life, all backgrounds, CUNY has been the difference. It's been the opportunity creator. And we want to continue that tradition. We want to deepen it. We're also putting a lot of resources into strengthening CUNY. We have a strong partnership with CUNY in terms of the community colleges. We've invested $142 million in the community colleges, the largest investment by the city in almost 15 years. And we've done that to strengthen STEM programs. We've done that to strengthen the ASAP program, which helps kids strengthen their own abilities while in college and helps them to get all the way through college successfully. These are investments that we think are making a very big difference. And we look forward to thousands of more kids now having access because the college application fee will be eliminated. Very quickly in Spanish. Más de la mitad de los estudiantes de nuestras escuelas públicas que pasan a la universidad lo hacen en centros educativos de CUNY. Hoy me complace anunciar que eliminamos el pago de $65 para solicitar matrícula en CUNY a los estudiantes de pocos recursos. Queremos que la universidad no sea un privilegio, sino un componente estándar de la educación. With that, my honor to introduce our chancellor, who's leading the way on equity and excellence, Carmen Farina.
Thank you. Good morning. For me, this is actually a very personal initiative. I was the first in my family to go to college, and I almost didn't make it there because after my freshman year of high school, I was told I wasn't college material. So they put me, in those days, we had the commercial track, we had the academic track, and I ended up, and we were sharing stories today, the principal and I, and it was a statement almost like you're just not good enough. And if a teacher hadn't taken a step to say to me at a certain point, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? And when I said teacher, she said, well, you're not going to make it doing this. And she actually took me under her wing for almost 3 years, from sophomore to junior year. And I did a lot of the work on my own. But even then, when I got to college, it was a real foreign experience. No one would prepare me for what was going to happen when I got there. I remember telling my mother I didn't have to go to school on a Monday. She said, why? I said, because we are on a different schedule. We only go to school Tuesday, Thursday, and I found that later because many college professors don't like to teach on Fridays and Mondays. The reality is that it's not just about getting to college, but it's about what do you do when you get there. And you heard the students today talking about the difference between what they expect the college work to do and what they expect high school work. They expect to go deeper into topics. They expect to do more comparing and contrasting. But this is a wonderful school for us to be today because I was at an event this summer where the staff, the 100 schools, were being prepared for this work. And Principal Katz had 6 of her members of her staff there. And they were talking extremely seriously about what each of them was going to do when they came back to the school. And this is a school that has over 1,000 students who are Ls, English language learners. So for a school like this to take this on and to take it on at this level, I think is extraordinary. Because you do not speak English doesn't mean you do not have a bright future. In fact, if you can speak 2 languages, and I'm sure one of the students who spoke today has a Russian background, and she will now have the ability to go to college, learn, and perhaps use her Russian language in terms of future job opportunities. So we have to start rethinking who are the college students of tomorrow, what opportunities do we have to give them, and also how do we prepare them starting, by the way, in pre-K. To me, 11th grade is great, but pre-K. And we have been very conscious of College Awareness Day, where we talk about colleges in all our schools, visiting colleges in middle school, but also in this school and many others like it. They will start forming 9th grade advisory groups to talk about the college application process, as well as what courses you need to take in high school in order to get to college. You don't want to get to 11th grade and find you don't have the coursework. So this is all hands on deck kind of effort, and it's about training more and more people, including parents. I met with a group of parents on Saturday, and one of the things they said, give us more information so we can help our students at home and we can be part of the process. As I was talking to one of the students today, one of the things that I said to him is, what do you go to college for besides learning? And he kind of said, And as you know, you go to make friends, you go to network. Think of all our parents who are maybe 2nd, 3rd generation college students themselves in their families. You know which college to go to so that you'll have a friend when you want to get a job in a certain company. We need to give all our kids that same equity. And I think CUNY is a phenomenal partner. I particularly want to thank Executive, there you are, Vita Rabinowitz for her leadership on this and for understanding that this is a two-way street. Colleges have to be ready for our kids in the sense of the things that they need to teach that we're really getting better and better at. And then how do we also work with them so that it's not just you get to freshman year of college and then that's the end of the job. We know that freshman year of college is one of the toughest grades to go through and that many of our kids drop out at the end of freshman year. So our goal in this program is to also have the freshman students come back and talk to their high school friends and keep talking about what their challenges that they've met, what they need to do, and also preparing the students that are left behind. They're the models for those students. So I'm really excited about this initiative. This is a real equity and excellence saying to parents, $65 to a lot of parents is not a lot of money. To some parents, it's an unbelievable stumbling block to the best future for their students. So this is really a great initiative today, and I'm proud to be part of this team today. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, as I said, we have focused this administration on supporting so much of what happens at CUNY and the community colleges are the area where we play a particular role. And we've tried more and more to connect all of our strategies for education and for helping our young people to our strategies for supporting our community colleges at CUNY. The person who's leading our efforts at City Hall to work with CUNY and strengthen CUNY is our Deputy Mayor, Richard Bury.
So again, it's just I will join the mayor and the chancellor in saying what an extraordinary day this is. I spent most of my career working on bringing economic opportunity, educational opportunity to young people, particularly focused on programs that get people on the path through college. And there was a school that I helped start in the Bronx, and we had a saying. And the saying was, college is not a dream, it's a plan. And what we meant by that was that in order to help young people get it to college and through college, you had to build, just as the chancellor just said, beginning in pre-K or earlier, develop all the supports those young people need along the way. And very importantly, removing all the barriers that young people might face along the way. And that's why today is so extraordinary. The city, under the leadership of the mayor and the chancellor, have made incredible investments in everything from early childhood education to AP for all along the way, making sure that nothing stands in the way of our young people being able to achieve their full potential. And God forbid that something so simple as a $65 application fee should stand in the way of young people who have the passion and the talent and the motivation to lead their best lives. And how fitting that we have this partnership with CUNY, which for generations has stood as the engine of opportunity, including for my immigrant mom, who graduated from Hunter. So I just want to say that it's an extraordinary day. I'm so happy to be here, a part of it. It really represents our commitment in partnership with CUNY in making sure that nothing stands in the way of opportunity. And finally, I just want to also give a particular thank you, join the Chancellor giving a particular thank you to CUNY, and particularly to Executive Vice Chancellor Rabinowitz, who has really been leading an extraordinary series of efforts to make sure that CUNY is really there for all students. I think really leading a wonderful transformation at CUNY. It's been a partner to work with you in all of those issues, and I'm very excited that this, once again, we're chipping away at those things that stand in our young people's way. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Well, since we're saying so many nice things about Vita Rabinowitz, I think we should hear from her, Executive Vice Chancellor and Provost of CUNY, Vita Rabinowitz.
Thank you so much. Good morning. I am truly honored to be here today on behalf of the City University of New York, Chancellor Milliken, to celebrate the deepening partnership between the Office of the Mayor, the Department of Education, wonderful colleagues here, and the City University of New York for the benefit of our students and their families. I want to thank everyone whose hard work has brought us to this moment, especially Mayor de Blasio, you, your team, Deputy Mayor Rich Bury, Chancellor Farina, have an extraordinary commitment to public education at every level, from pre-K to college, and thanks to your extraordinary investments, CUNY's programs, our signature programs for promoting access, for promoting academic quality and degree completion. The mayor mentioned ASAP, or Accelerated Study in Associate Programs. Colleagues, I will tell you, that program has been phenomenally successful. It has doubled and tripled graduation rates and propelled students to advanced college careers that otherwise would not be possible. The mayor has invested, in fact, doubled down to create more STEM majors, which is something we want and value at CUNY. Other programs that the mayor has supported, CUNY Start and others, reach thousands of students and help them earn degrees, record degrees in record times. With their help, these programs have become national models of excellence, praised by President Obama. You've heard him talk about these even in the State of the Union address, validated by independent assessors, and replicated across the country. State of Ohio is now instituting ASAP, and more systems and states are calling. I also want to thank FDR High School and its energetic, wonderful principal, Melanie Katz, for hosting what is a joyous event. I was delighted to learn last year to see the pictures that the mayor referred to on the walls of where students are going to college, and to learn that about 75% of FDR senior class applied to a CUNY college. Over 500 students, and over 300 are now enrolled at a CUNY school. And that's what makes today so important. Students across the city apply to attend CUNY schools in much like the numbers that FDR students do. So year after year, almost 60% of the DOE's college-going graduates attend CUNY, and 75% of current CUNY students are graduates of DOE schools. So CUNY and the DOE are inextricably linked. We are proud and thrilled for that connection. Our partnership exists on multiple levels and in many forms, and it deepens every year. At a time in our history when a college, as the mayor said, when a college degree has never meant more for our students' future prospects, ensuring that a college education is truly available to every New Yorker of every background and economic circumstance, eliminating all the barriers, including a $65 fee, is not only the main goal of the DOE's College Access for All, but it's at the heart of the CUNY mission, a priority we share in equal measure with the city. We all know that the college application process is a pivotal moment. It's a fraught moment in the life of a high school student. It can be a make or break moment, especially for students who are wondering, is this worth it? Can I do this? It's a moment when we can and must come together to make a great college education available. And thanks to the fee elimination program, the door will indeed open wider for all those eligible who wish to attend a CUNY college. And it will enable more more New Yorkers to pursue a college degree. This can potentially change the trajectory of whole families. That's what CUNY has always done and been for New Yorkers. May it always be so. Mayor, we are thrilled to be part of this effort. Thank you for all you do. Okay.
And now I want to hear from the elected officials who are with us who have been very, very supportive of equity and excellence and of college access for all. First, our public advocate, Tish James.
I want to thank the principal of this great school. I want to thank the mayor, the chancellors, borough president, and Councilmember Greenfield, and I want to thank Alashe. Thank you for being here. I am a proud graduate of CUNY, and I, too, had to work at my high school, which is not too far from here, Fort Hamilton High School. And I spoke to a number of students upstairs, and they, too, have to work to support their families. And at the time that I graduated from high school and applied to CUNY, I had to pay for the fee because my family was not in a position. And so many students at this school and schools all throughout the city of New York have a similar story. And although tonight our nation is anticipating a national debate about the direction of our country, there should be no debate about the importance of higher education, not only in New York, but all across our country. This is truly a game changer for young people to pursue a higher education. And I particularly want to thank the mayor and the chancellor because in addition to waiving the fee today as a result of this announcement, as someone who is assisting her niece in preparing to go to college, in her high school, which is a public high school, they are not only assisting the students with application, they're preparing today their personal essays, they're assisting them with the FAFSA application, which, by the way, to all of the media, is due October 1st. Get the word out. Applications for colleges start on November 1st. Media, get the word out. And individuals need to start getting their financial information together. And so high schools all across the city of New York are assisting students, particularly students who have had the opportunity, this is their first opportunity to attend college. They are assisting them in a wide range of issues. And so this fee of $65 can be the difference between applying, delaying, or not even going to college. And the road to the middle class runs through a college or a university. And we all know that higher education today is an absolute necessity. And it is the key to success, and it worked for me. And obviously, economic status should not be a roadblock or a barrier to success. As a public advocate of the city of New York and as someone who recognizes the importance of education and recognizes that education is the key to success and independence, I thank the mayor, I thank the chancellor, I thank this wonderful school, and I particularly want to thank the graduates. And Alashe, you go, girl.
Thank you very much. And now the Borough President of Brooklyn, Eric Adams.
Thank you, and I have a gift for you, Mayor. I think that Letitia, the public advocate, really voiced it, and it's so important. And we put our money where our mouth is. $26 million of my capital went directly into education. $200,000 is going to this great school. And we're going to announce a major announcement where we're going to put $1 million into a contest. Our children need to be competitive. I too, I'm a two-time graduate of CUNY and had to go to school at night. I think all of us can tell that same story. It has been written. But I think there's a larger conversation here, and I have attended several press conferences with the mayor. And we talked about this, and I believe the Deputy Mayor Bury, he alluded to the crumbling of those barriers. I call it a wall. It's this wall that has been built that prevented far too many people, particularly English as a second language or economics, from going into the middle class. This mayor has successfully, brick by brick, he has removed the wall, and he's turning the wall into a bridge where our communities can all walk into middle class. And so every press conference I attend, Mayor, I'm going to give you a gift.
Is it less than $35?
That's what I was going to say.
Here's his brick
It's a brick.
for access
I like it.
to CUNY, that you keep dismantling the brick, dismantling the wall, and you hold on to these. By the time it is over, you'll be able to build a large enough wall that even the press can't get to you.
Beautiful. That is.
Eric Adams wall.
No, I will always invite the press to see the wall being. I like that. We're going to dismantle the wall, build a bridge. I've never been given a brick before. This is a very special moment. I like it. Thank you, Eric. I look forward to my next brick. And now the man who represents this community is City Councilman David Greenfield.
You know, it reminds me of there's a famous story that these people would line up to come visit their local rabbi, and they would come to the rabbi and ask the rabbi for advice. And before they left, the rabbi would give them these small pebbles. And one of his disciples, after years, just assumed that it was some sort of lucky pebble that was blessed, and asked the rabbi, said, "Rabbi, why do you give us these small pebbles?" He says, "Well, when you come back, you should only throw pebbles at me, not bricks." Be careful what you wish for, Mr. Mayor. Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, you know, in Brooklyn, we've got it going on. It's a great thrill for me to be here today, an especially great thrill. I actually have a confession to make. Not a good policy for politicians to make confessions, Mr. Mayor, but I'm going to do that anyway. My confession is that I actually went to yeshiva. I did not go to public school. I went to a private college, Touro College. I went to a Jesuit law school, and so I have no connection whatsoever with any public school or CUNY system. And that being said, I'm very proud that we've come full circle, because I'm a great supporter of our public schools in CUNY. In fact, it gives me great joy to be here today, because I stood on the steps of this exact school 7 years ago when the prior administration tried to shut this school down, because their position was that the school wasn't doing well and it was too big to succeed, in their words. And we fought the fight. And I'm very proud to say that thanks to a lot of hard work, thanks to a lot of investment, and our great Principal Katz, FDR is thriving and more successful than ever before. And in fact, interesting factoid as well, the majority of my constituents actually do not attend public schools, but I fund every single public school in my district, including this school, FDR School. I'm very proud to have given collectively almost $1 million to the school, including funding for a new football field. Go Cougars! And so this school is actually the perfect school to make an announcement, which means that the mayor's advanced people deserve a raise, because this proves the mayor's philosophy since he ran for office and that he's been doing consistently, which is that if you invest in education and you give local people the tools, that you can in fact have the communities and the students and the parents invest, as well as, of course, the educators, and you can improve our schools, and that's what Mayor Bill de Blasio has done. And so I want to thank him for his leadership. I want to thank, of course, the Chancellor for bringing things home and for really connecting with people on a local level, which I know... That's revenge for my brick joke. And I know how much students and teachers and educators appreciate that. And really, it's so exciting to be here today, because if you really look at what the mayor has done from UPK for All, which is a phenomenal achievement, to after-school programs, to jobs for youths, including in the summer and summer youth employment program, and the commitment, I think it's the first time, maybe I'm wrong, that we've had a dedicated deputy mayor who focuses on education issues exclusively, but that seems to be my recollection regardless. In any event, Richard Bury is doing a great job, so thank you for that work. And I think this is really critical. You know, I think part of the challenge of doing something different really is people always have excuses. And I remember when I was, it's funny, I remember now actually when I was, the Chancellor mentioned that she almost didn't go to college. I almost didn't go to high school, but that's another story for another day. But I remember when I was sitting in high school and I was studying late at night, and how many times my friends would call me and be like, "Hey, we're going out now. You should come and hang out with us," or "You should do something else." "Oh, you're such a party pooper." That was the term they used back then for you kids who are wondering what that is. You can Google it. "You're such a party pooper. Why don't you come out with us?" And the answer is that there's always excuses that we give, and whether it's our fellow students or whether in some cases, unfortunately, it's relatives or even parents, for excuses why not to succeed. And a $65 barrier is a barrier. I don't know about you, but I've certainly have had times in my life, raise your hand if you didn't have $65 in your bank account. It's happened to me in my life. And so the ability to take down that barrier and to take down that excuse and to give everyone the opportunity to go and to apply to college, I think, is something that's phenomenal. So I'm proud to have been a part of this. I congratulate the mayor and our entire team here today, and really, once again, have huge respect for FDR, an amazing example of what you can do when you're dedicated and committed, and a combination of the educators and teachers and students and support from City Hall and from the Department of Education has really turned this around and made this a fabulous school that I'm proud to represent. Thank you very much.
Well, David, we're glad you went to high school. And Chancellor Farina, we're really glad that that teacher supported you and told you you could make it, because it's amazing to think, and it's really a little sobering to think about the fact that someone who now leads the biggest school system in the country might not even have gone to college at all and had that opportunity, but for one teacher who saw what she had to offer. And that's a credit to our educators who do that every single day in the city, find a child who has potential that has not gone noticed, and they uplift that child. So that's part of what we're celebrating today. Okay, we're going to take questions on this initiative. Rich.
How much will the elimination of this fee cost CUNY, and are you making up the difference, or CUNY just taking the hit, or how does it work?
We are splitting it with CUNY, and the investment from the city is $2 million a year. So it's a couple different things. I'll start, and if someone wants to join me in adding criteria, I welcome it. It's kids who get free and reduced lunch. It's kids who are homeless. Let me see if I had some others. Temporary housing, so homelessness and temporary. Foster children. Public assistance is right. And wards of the state. Those are the categories. But the most straightforward and sort of general one you'll find is free and reduced lunch. We can get you, I don't know that offhand, but we can get you that for sure. Yes?
Is it a hard application to apply to get your fee waived? How does it go about doing that?
So let me just say again, this is a fee elimination, so part of the power of what we're doing here is that you don't have to go through that extra step, that it's something that will be identified up front to make it easier. I don't know if someone can talk about the mechanics. Vita, do you want to come up? Or?
And Vita, you can join in if you. The schools will have a list of the students that are eligible, and that will be put on some way on the application. So we expect this not to be a public statement. This is something, when students fill in applications, they go automatically into the system, and we just expect this to be some kind of either a paper or a stamp that verifies this.
And it goes into effect this November for applications?
Yes.
And we obviously appreciate all of our colleagues in the media getting the word out. The schools will do it, obviously, but it's really great for parents to hear this is something they will not have to deal with the applications their kids will put in this year. Yes?
Two parts, Mr. Mayor. One, what was it that made the difference here to make this decision and decide that this was a priority? And two, back to the funding, is this something that if the economy goes, in the wrong direction and things need to be reevaluated, is this something that could be on that chopping block?
This is one I can editorialize on that, even though every budget year is different and we don't know where the economy will take us. This is one I think will be very durable. It's a very high impact investment. It's in the scheme of the overall city budget, not too heavy a lift. This is one we want to stick with for the long term. So, you never say never, but I think this is one that's going to be with us for a long time. Why? Because when we locked on to the idea of equity and excellence, it was a long process that got us to it. We basically said, what is the direction of our schools? Where are we going? What is a simple idea that will animate everything we do? And it really boiled down to those two concepts. We knew there were too many schools that just were not good enough in terms of the quality they needed to achieve, especially for the modern world. We knew that there was a fundamental inequity between schools in our system. We wanted to go at those two things simultaneously. So all of the building blocks are universal in the sense of every school, of course, got pre-K. Every school got after school for middle school kids. And we're bringing all kids up to reading level at 3rd grade. All kids will get algebra during middle school or by 9th grade. All schools will have advanced placement courses. There's this concept across the board of creating that equality, but the equality aligns to excellence. Within that, you had to create a college culture. And we knew that that was one of the great bellwethers of the difference between our schools, sadly, that some had that rich college culture and others didn't, and it was communicating a lot to our kids the wrong way. So when we looked at all the pieces, we started baking them into equity and excellence. Obviously, the visits to the colleges during middle school, the AP courses, which are college-level courses. So if they're in your school, that's communicating a lot about the potential of each student. But we recognized even something as narrow as the application fee was standing in the way. So as the chancellor just said to me a moment ago, the combination of free SAT tests and free application to CUNY, that's a really big 1-2 punch, because it clears the way for talented kids to have an opportunity that those hundreds of dollars they might have spent, had to spend otherwise could have stood in the way of. It's really about, we need to create a momentum in the entire school system that each and every child has an opportunity to go to college. And we thought this was one of the ones that would send the clear, powerful message and also be very, very practical. And obviously more than half our kids go to CUNY, so this is where we needed to make the focus.
When brought it to you and said this is something we should really do?
That's an excellent question, because many good ideas emerged during the equity and excellence strategy sessions. Wow, that was like Mary Poppins came to our press conference. Okay. All right. What else? Yes.
How will the students be made aware whether they qualify, or will they be made aware?
That's a damn good question. How are we going to, do you want to, Vida, do you want to?
Claire, I'm going to turn to the University Director of Admissions, Claire Norton, who will, yes. Hi,
Claire, step right
yes,
up.
that's right.
Glad to help.
Yes.
Details, that's my department. So we have been working collaboratively with the Office of Post-Secondary Readiness at the DOE to determine the number of students at each school who are likely to be eligible. And we looked at all this information on students' income, how many students are likely to graduate at a given school, to determine how many will be needed. So we'll be communicating that, or the DOE will be communicating that to the principals via the principal portal. And then CUNY will be able to electronically process the fact that those students have had their fee eliminated.
But how does each, I want to just get the question early, how will each student and their family know?
So schools will be communicating to students and their families primarily. And the university will be communicating, obviously, with schools regularly to ensure that they understand that message. Yeah, so absolutely. We'll bring my partner, Andrea Sunichin from the DOE up here to talk more about that.
Sure. So first I want to clarify the start date. So these will go live in October for our College Application Week celebration, which Claire is October 15th?
It was October 17th.
The week of the 17th. So I'm starting on a Saturday. So they will go live for College Application Week, and we communicate with students and staff through a variety of ways through our website. We have mailing lists of all the counselors who ever have gone to training with us. We will be sending out email blasts. All of our staff for College Access for All, who are in our 100 schools, are going to be working closely with college advisors on those sites. We'll use all of our social media resources and working with our Office of Family and Community Engagement to make sure there's lots of communication out to students and families for the start of college application week.
Thank you. I'd like you to hear from the principal as well, how she's doing it here at FDR.
Hi, good morning, and welcome to FDR once again. We have some specific plans. This is all very new to us. It's very exciting, and we will communicate it the traditional ways that we communicate with our parents. We have a parent coordinator who is our first line of defense and our first line of communication. We have an online grading system that allows us to email parents who are registered. We have a webpage. Please visit www.fdrhs.org. It's great. And we'll communicate on there. We find that backpacking letters home with high school students is more optimistic than it is. We can go through teachers. We generally work with a lot of the college application process, either through the college office or the English class or the social studies class. And if you walk around the building, you've seen we've got digital displays. So this is all hands on deck. We're going to let the parents know about this great opportunity.
Yeah, and our FACE Parent Engagement Office is working with all high school parent coordinators to ensure that they have the information as well.
We've got the structure with the superintendent's office where we have two people in place that are also going to be helping us with this initiative.
Thank you.
My name is Melanie Katz. Thank you.
How are we spelling Melanie? Ah.
It's Katz with a K, and Melanie like Gone with the Wind.
Okay, I got to think about that. Yes.
There, of the existing 6,500 who are eligible for the waiver, just curious if you have any sense of how many kids actually took advantage of it.
That's a great question.
They did.
Come on over. Come on.
That's right, yes.
Come on.
Okay,
Speak
right.
into
Yes.
the microphone.
That's it. 6,500 waivers were actually awarded. All of them to very low-income students, and also, I understand, veterans, and also any student who was in foster care, whether currently or is transitioning out, was also eligible for the waivers. Claire, did I get that right? All right, good. So that's, but again, the mayor is quadrupling that the number of students who will be eligible. Quintupling. Sorry, yes.
All right. Well, let's go on that. Go ahead.
Just to clarify, so there are 6,500 eligible for the waiver and all
6,500 getting the waiver, yes.
Up to date.
Yes.
Now 37,000 will be eligible.
That's right, okay, good.
And I just want to do a little PS here. At the end of every year, we have a celebration for salutatorians and valedictorians, as well as students who have overcome obstacles. And a vast majority of those students in the past have not necessarily applied to colleges because of a lot of obstacles, and we anticipate that those are the students that will be going into many of the colleges. So it's very exciting.
Okay, other questions on this initiative? See if there's anything else before we call it a day. Anything else?
Just go to the microphone and say what you just said about the salutatorians and valedictorians.
Yes, because radio wants that. Say it again.
We have several events at the end of June. One of them is students who've overcome major obstacles, and these are students that in many cases are in foster care, temporary housing, have overcome unbelievable obstacles, and many of them will now be able to go on to CUNY with the fee waive. The same thing with salutatorians and valedictorians. The mayor and I attended the event this year, and it was amazing how many people in that audience, vast majority, are first in their families to go to college. So this is going to be a real boon, I think, for a lot of students to see a reward for all their hard work.
Good. Yes.
Do you have any data on how many students did not apply because of financial constraints?
Okay, I want anyone who wants to offer, I'm going to offer my layman's view because I think it's important. Data tells us so much, but one thing we do know, we know for a fact how many families have been struggling in this city. We talked about it when I ran at the time, 46% at or near the poverty level. And we know that $65 means a lot to people, and we know on top of that, we not only have the financial burden question, but the psychological burden that because so many kids felt maybe they didn't belong in college, every additional impediment really hurt. So we're convinced this is a difference maker. In terms of the data specific, do you have anything to offer on that?
Just a word. Just a word, Mayor. And this doesn't get directly to your question, but I have a feeling it's a piece of the puzzle. As the mayor and chancellor know well, every year there are students who could go to college. That is, they are college ready by any measure, by CUNY's measures, and yet they do not apply. I don't know if it's quite 20%, but it's not insignificant. And we suspect that for some of those students, it is indeed the financial burden. Again, not 100%, but so we know it matters. It's hard to quantify how much.
But the final point on that is now we get an opportunity to study the positive impact, meaning this was not studied enough in the past. We're now going to do it and see what the pickup on it is and see what the impact is. We think it's going to be a big difference maker, but of course we'll now have the perfect laboratory of New York City to see if this makes a big difference.
And if I could just,
Please.
I have to ask Mr. Wood, what is the reason for today not allowing questions on other topics?
Because we do that when we're ready to do that, so that will be Wednesday. I'll see you out there. That'll be a time. I'll see you out there. We'll have plenty to say on that. Thanks, everyone.